she's one of those founders that has built something on her own without any support, without any initial jump, without funding. I know that for a fact.
They were talking about how the most important thing they ever did in their business was fire themselves and hire a good team. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, oftentimes I'm the weak link. Like, it takes forever for me to get something or do something or stop long enough. It's fun to hear someone else talk about looking from the outside how successful it looks. Because again, being a founder, being in your business every single day, it doesn't always feel successful. You feel the struggle, the tension.
Hello, everybody. I am so happy today to be speaking to Bekah. I think I've known her for a few years now, probably 3, 4 years. And the way that we got connected is pretty interesting. We'll discuss on that as well. But what I love most about Bekah is the fact that she's one of those founders that has built something on her own without any support, without any initial jump, without funding. I know that for a sure. I know that for a fact. And all this despite having a very robust and very large family, a very supportive family, a husband who's from all understanding is very supportive and very loving. And despite all having a very fulfilling family life, Bekah has built what I could just know to be a fact, to be a company that caters to a very specific kind of businesses, a very specific kind of businesses, and also purchased another business as well. So Becca's doing a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure even she doesn't know everything that she's doing, but we'll flesh it out here today. Thank you so much for taking the time, Becca.
Thanks for having me. I know it's total full circle moment from been close to 5 years. I feel like we met during like 2020
Uh,
in COVID.
oh, it's been 5 years. My God.
I think it's been 5 years. I'm having visions of like our old office, which used to be in our bedroom. And like scarfing down Skittles by like the pound because that is the journey we were on at
Yeah.
that moment.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's been 5 years.
Speaking of being female founders, I think we also met in a startup that was also a female-led startup. I believe you were working as a marketing coordinator, marketing manager for that specific CPG company. And we have had quite a few discussions about how the company should be there. The founder is a very eccentric person for that specific company, and a lot of things transpired between us, and we still stayed in touch. We still have been keeping very close ties on how each of us have grown along the years. Talking about that startup, is there something you would like to share about our experiences there? I think a lot of founders need to know how to deal with people pretty early on.
Yeah, I think one of the super important parts is finding partners that you can't, and not necessarily like I'm getting part of my company over to this like business, like that kind of partner, but even like third party partnerships and people that like rally around you so that you can be successful. And those are the ones that like stick and go versus like I'm doing a thing and I have an idea, and perhaps I'm not listening to all of the input that's being given to me from all sides. So finding your teammates and teammates that you can trust, and being willing to like listen and grow. And essentially, I was talking to another person, and they were talking about how the most important thing they ever did in their business was fire themselves and hire a good team. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, oftentimes I'm the weak link. Like, it takes forever for me to get something or do something or stop long enough or whatever it is. But I think that was, as we're being super vague to protect people, but I think that might be one of the foundational things as a founder, that it's lonely being a founder,
Huh?
and having teammates that you can trust, and also just partnerships that maybe aren't even necessarily business related. I'm thinking specifically of you, of how we just kind of like keep in touch and, like, what are you doing? All that kind of stuff, even just to like bounce ideas off or support or cheer or, all that kind of stuff.
And one of the things that frustrated me the most while working with that other mutual CPG company was that you had, obviously in hindsight, you're very successful, but even at that time, you had very good ideas. You were really passionate about what you were working. But the founder or the founding team seemed to want more control over their brand, seemed to be very reluctant in taking advice from anybody to kind of help them. That could be one of the reasons why I don't think they have grown as much as they should have, because it was a great product. It helps people. But she was very closed off to inputs from inputs from others as well. But I think as a founder, when as you have become a business owner, I think you're one of those people that are very trusting of other people. Obviously, there have been times you've burned, but eventually, I think it has been a net positive for you that you have been able to build a business just on your own. So I think that is one thing that has made you very, very successful pretty fast.
Yeah, it doesn't feel fast. I think every founder, like, looks at other businesses and other companies and things like that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, they hit either this funding mark, or they signed this client, or they reached this monetary revenue amount," and you just feel like you're very slowly plugging along, and you're like, "Go on, like, come on." But if you look back over, like, the magnitude of what where you started and where you are now, there is significant difference that happens, and you have to keep that
Mhm.
like 10,000-foot perspective, rather than like, I'm here and it feels like this and payrolls due
Mm.
and that kind of stuff. So,
And
those are the super important things to remember on the founder journey.
and another interesting aspect is that you have your own marketing agency, not your average Namark, in short, marketing agency. One thing that has always fascinated me is that you do happen to come to Louisville, I think once a year, every year, to attend an expo for heavy machinery, heavy equipment. And I'm like, what the hell is Becca doing here? She's a successful marketing agency person. Why is she hauling herself to Louisville to attend a specific conference which arguably has nothing to do with you or your world? It's a male dominated, very different kind of a world that you seem to be pretty involved in. Firstly, how did you get involved in this? And secondly, what are some of the interesting nuances from a marketing perspective that you've seen from people in that part of the world?
Oh, man. So I grew up in rural upstate New York. So tractors, chainsaws, like, I was born and bred, like, we bleed green John Deere. That is what we use. We don't use anything else. Everyone buys John Deere. Grandfather had John Deere. Dad had John Deere. When we bought our first house, we bought a John Deere. Like, that's what you do. You use Husqvarna chainsaws. This is what you do. Um, One of my friends, who has grown to be like a great business friend, and just idea generator, much like you, had a landscape business, and decided he was going to transition over to a dealership. So they were using like Dixie chopper tractors,
Oh,
mowers. Okay, late for calling it a tractor. It's okay. Dixie chopper mowers to maintain the lawns and do the things that they were doing, and then they were repairing their own equipment. So he was like, "Why don't I just, like, retail the things that we use and repair?" And he ended up opening up a dealership, essentially. So, here I come, stay-at-home mom of 3, my babies are tiny.
yeah.
I'm like, "I need to make money, I don't wanna put them in daycare." So I walk in and I'm like, "Hey, we'll make you a website, and I'll do your social media." So my husband met me that night. He built the website, $500.
Your husband got it.
He did. He built it. We sat on the couch and I was like, I want this here and I want this here and I want this here and like designed and all of that kind of stuff like that while he coded and used I think we used Divi Builder back then on WordPress and kind of like put together a site and again sold it for $500.
That's it. Oh,
That's it, $500.
eh.
And then I was like, well, I'll do your social media. Well, I'll do, this kind of stuff and just spend as much time as I could, like learning and growing, like boots on the ground. And, he over the years, um, has opened his mouth and been one of our largest lead generators where every time they retail a new brand, he's like, "Oh, I need this as a dealer," or "I really wish you had this," or "Enter X, Y, and Z. You really should use my marketing girl."
Marketing girl. Wow, look at that.
Marketing girl, very illustrious marketing girl. So, we started working with other dealerships. We started working with brands that he was retailing. We started working, in that and just growing a ton. And, as founders and new businesses, it's really hard to value your work when you're learning. It's not like now someone's like, "Oh, how much does it cost for graphic design?" or "How much does it cost for you to come in and be our in-house marketing company?"
Hmm.
Like, I have that figured out now. Uh, 10 years ago, I was like, "Well, I'm learning. I don't really think I should charge that much." So we did a ton of free work and a ton of, like, on-the-job learning and just a ton. And that way, if I screwed it up,
Oh,
you didn't pay me anything. So, no harm, no foul. I got to learn, you got some effort,
mhm,
you know, whatever, that kind of stuff. So,
mhm,
all that to say, through that process, we are now heavily into the OEM manufacturing equipment rental dealership industry and work with dealers, distributors, and the manufacturers. So we have all sides of the market. So we do their merch lines, we do their co-op programs, we run their social media, we just released like full suite programs for manufacturers with their dealers so they can go through us. So the manufacturer pays a portion and the dealer pays a portion, and we'll do geo targeting and we'll do SEO and we'll do websites and we'll do
hmm.
like all that kind of stuff like that. And we keep our prices as reasonable as possible and we answer the phone when you call. So yes. And 97% of the time, it is me picking up the phone, being like, "Okay, hold on,"
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. So that's how we got where we are today and why I come to Kentucky every year, because it is the largest equipment and hardscape um, expo that happens once a year, and it's in Louisville, and it is one of my favorite shows. I love it so much, and we run the booths for brands and figure like this time we ran 2 or 3 booths, plus their influencer meet and greets, plus product lunches, plus,
Wow.
all that kind of we made a custom merch line for a brand for a giveaway so they could have T-shirts that people wore all over the trade show, like, it just it's a ton of fun, and you asked why this industry is less cutthroat than other industries, which is why I love it so much. There's enough room in the sandbox for everybody.
Hmm.
And they all work together. And oftentimes, like there are certain situations where there's brands where you can only retail that specific brand and you can't have any other ones. But for the most part, you'll walk into a dealership and they'll have multiple lines
Yeah.
or a rental house and they'll have multiple lines. And that gives us the ability to work with multiple brands and opens up the marketplace and just the exponential growth that can happen.
Mm. And
So,
what I love about this is that, if you look at it from the outside or if you look at it big picture, you are competing with a lot of people. You are competing one with the newness or reluctance of these different brands and OEMs themselves first.
yep.
Second, you're competing with other agencies that these people may know in their own networks or other agencies who have been around for longer. Third, you're competing with outsourced agencies that they may be able to get access to through Fiverr or Upwork if they really wanted something done. And there is no shortage of marketing agency who all claim they're the best and they do everything and they have different prices. It's very hard to compare. So you, even though there's enough space in the sandbox, you seem to have captured a vast majority of the sandbox, being a single founder, being a female founder, relatively new to the space, but only you know how much work you've put in. But from the outside, it does seem that. I know why that is, but I would love to hear from you. What could be one of those reasons that in a relatively short duration of time you have been able to not capture the market, but capture the hearts of so many OEMs and rental companies?
Um, it goes back to the same reason that someone buys a, tractor or a lawnmower or a handheld or something from a local dealership versus going to a big store. You're not just buying the product, you're buying the dealership. And that makes a huge difference. So, one of our large accounts, their big thing is someone always answers the phone. And I'm communicationally needy, so I want someone to answer the phone or get my text message or respond to my email right away, or that form of connection.
Mhm.
And one of the ways that we have been able to compete with larger places, show up, capture more market is I come in and I'm like, all right, what can we do to help? And oftentimes they're like, oh, we don't need anything. And if you just listen enough and you spend enough time with them, and some places, I will be honest, we have one account right now. It literally has taken me 4 years to convert them.
Well,
4 years of showing up, saying, how can I help? What do you need? Being a present, taking them out to dinner, shooting an email, just being like, "Hey, checking in," all that kinda stuff like that. It just continually being there because the large places will be like, "Well, that didn't meet. It's throwing off our turnaround time. It's throwing off our ROI." And, like, I don't care.
mhm.
It's about the relationship and not just the monetary value I'm gonna get from you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and it's fun to hear someone else talk about looking from the outside how successful it looks because again, being a founder, being in your business every single day, it doesn't always feel successful. You feel the struggle, the tension, the like, oh, our systems could be better. Oh, we could convert more clients. Oh, we could be better relationally. Oh, we could sell more of this service. Oh, I really should hire another person, but the funds really aren't there. That constant inward struggle. And then again, that influencer Instagram blinders go on. You look out and you go, for you, for example, "Oh my gosh, she's working with Nestle. How the heck did he get Nestle? That's not fair. I want," like I'm rooting for you, but I'm like, why is it so dang hard? And the truth is, it was just as hard for you as it was for me. And we are both struggling on a daily basis and succeeding on a daily basis with hard work. And all of those pieces and those things that just make this journey so, so important.
I love the term that you used, communicationally needy. I think you should coin that. You should just coin that term. I think that is super important. I've always maintained that in the tech startup space, the focus is given towards metrics, MRR, number of active users, churn. That's what people really look at. But I think like businesses are just people, they're just incorporated. It's just paperwork and people. And people forget that they're talking to and they are selling to other people. They may have great value, they may have less value, but I think most of the people are willing to work with certain partners, certain companies because they like the people in, because they feel fulfilled working with that specific person or that specific team. And that is greatly built on communication, especially in this world where we are in different parts of the country, often different parts of the world. Most of the communication is digital. We rarely meet the people in person. We don't need to really. And so in this space, I think the term or having that sense of communication, even when things are not going well, even when things may seem to be lacking, even then at that point when you communicate, I think that makes a huge difference, especially when you work with other other companies, both large and small as well. So I think that's one of the key reasons why Nearmark has been successful. It has been. Could you give us a sense of how successful you have become? You obviously don't need to give the exact financials out there, but just to get a sense of how many clients, growth, the company you just purchased. Just give us a sense of what's going on.
It's so funny that you asked that, because I just was having the conversation with my husband the other day where I was like, it's January. We are hemorrhaging cash. We are short on payroll. This makes me stressed out.
Mm.
Uh, because the truth is, growth happened in December. We onboarded new employees. We did like a whole bunch of stuff in December, and I'm feeling it in January.
Mm.
So that excitement of the new year, but then the bank account is laughing at me. And like you said in the beginning when we first started, one of the conversations you and I have had is about funding. And I don't want funding. With funding comes a whole different set of requirements and things like that. I want the freedom and the flexibility to do things at my own pace, my own way, without having to report to anybody else but me and my bank account. Will I come to a point that I change my mind? Maybe. Absolutely. And I'm more than happy to admit, oh, I was wrong. And this is the path that we're on right now. But currently in this state right now, I'm in the like, nope, we do this on our own. We bootstrap, but there's no funding. We do like it's all that kind of stuff like that.
Mm.
So to answer your question, 10 years ago, yep, 2026, 2016, 10 years ago, I started Wear Marketing and Design, and I made $10,000 a year,
Whoa.
which was life-changing. Like, I cannot tell you how life-changing it was. Stay-at-home mom, didn't have extra income coming in, didn't wanna watch other people's kids in my house anymore, so to have $10,000 that I earned on my own that didn't, like I didn't have to change someone else's diaper other than my own children was, like, amazing. Um, so I would say 2016, we moved from upstate New York to Massachusetts in 2017.
Mm.
So I maybe we started in 2015. Kids take your brain cells sometimes, and they just don't come back. So, it's okay. So it must have been 2015 and 2016, I made about 10 grand a year. We moved here in 2017, and the way I was doing business in New York was not sustainable from a distance. I literally was physically going into places. We worked with a real estate place, and I would literally go on site and take pictures, and I would go into their office and help them with their training videos, and I would go in and sit with the owner and bring my cute little toddler with her little toys that she'd sit right at my feet while my other two were at school. Like, I was physically going into places and running events and doing things, and when you live another state away, you can't do that anymore. So when we moved, I ended up dropping all of my clients,
Wow.
except one. And the one was based out of Chicago, and it was a beauty industry. They were in the indie beauty industry, and I ended up changing our model. And again, working a lot for free because I had changed our model and I didn't know how to value my time and my effort. So I worked for free for companies like Dome Beauty that developed a makeup and mascara and products that I still use today and love. The Honey Pot Company with Beatrice Dixon. I met her standing at an indie beauty expo like trade show. We were in booths next to each other and we just connected. And she is fantastic. And I helped develop at the time their ambassador program
Mm.
and managed their ambassador program for them for years with influencers. And we're talking like 2019, like before influencers and ambassadors were really a thing.
Mm.
We were doing that kind of stuff and just like trying to fill my information bucket as much as we can. And then during COVID, I met the startup that couldn't. Uh, That's that's what we'll call it. I don't believe they're still operating today. And had learned as much as humanly possible about CPG brands as I could and Amazon and more about web development and all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, I had met a local company here that did graphic design, and had kind of like they white labeled us,
Oh,
where we provided the digital services that they couldn't do. So we did that for about a year during 2020. And 2021, um, our business really took off and we doubled. So, we're talking about like going from $10,000 to $20,000.
it's money.
So, right? And it was just me, so I could maintain everything on my own. In 2021, I realized I couldn't maintain everything on my own, and I needed to do more. So we started signing on as many SEO accounts as we could, anything we could take on, and operating under the model of you never say no. So I was like, if I can figure it out, I can figure it out, and we'll go from there. And we grew a ton, and I doubled again, which was great. So we have been basically doubling every year since 2021.
Wow.
So my goal is to double again this year,
Oh,
which would be great. I think it's super realistic and all that fun stuff. So here's going from that. So the goal has been to double every year. This past year we purchased, so 2025, we purchased the graphic design business that they white labeled us. Blah. Um, my mouth, my brain, they were white labeling us. The owner was looking to get out, so we took over and we took over her book of business,
mm.
which was great. Um, again, for the people who have purchased a business, they will all laugh because you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Yeah.
So there were many things I didn't know that I know now, and it was a learning process. And if I ever buy another business, I now know many of the things that I will do the next time, that I didn't do this time. And yes, but now we work with companies that aren't just manufacturers, dealers, and distributors. We work with, Comcast and NetScout and,
All of
large.
Fancast?
Yes,
Okay, all right. Huh.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Uh-huh.
So we work with large companies like that, and it's fun and exciting and it's stressful and all sorts of stuff like that. And there was a business, now there's a new business. They're working together as one. Everyone's getting to know everybody. The services are changing. We can now offer places everything except PR. That's where I draw the line. I won't do PR.
No PR.
I won't do PR. We will write you a press release. We will answer a media inquiry. We will provide the media kit, the branding kit, the photography. I will not manage relationships with press companies, publications, things like that. I'm not going to get you in a journal. I'm not going to get you like that is just it's a whole different ball game, and I'm okay not having that service.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So now when we go into a place, I literally can be like, "Oh, you need a pull-up banner? Great. We will design it, we will order it, and we will ship it to you, and it'll be cheaper probably than you can get on a large website."
Wow.
And they didn't have to do anything but tell us what they wanted. So it just makes it easier and it makes it faster. And, or like small dealerships being like, I need 25 t-shirts. Great. We can get you 25 t-shirts and go order them and make 25 t-shirts and have it shipped directly to them. Or a manufacturer being like,
Mm.
hey, I need this. Great. We'll make your trade show booth. We'll do your co-op program. We'll run your digital ads. We'll make your standards for all of your other dealers and all of their goods and great,
Mm.
great, great.
I think this is the wonderful thing of being an entrepreneur. Once you're an entrepreneur, it's very addictive. I know you're like, okay, this whatever's done is done. Comcast, big deal. Move on to the next one. I know for a fact that you have a couple more business ideas that you're in the process of fleshing out that may not directly be related to strictly something a marketing agency would do, but I think that's that just shows that how a founder's mind works, because it's very addictive to build something from nothing. You know how much you worked, you know you founded the payment literally. You have faced ups, you have faced downs, you have been promised a lot of things by some people which they may not have come through, and despite all that you're like, "Tup, let's move on to the it's just magical, isn't it?"
It is, it's crazy. Like, and again, like I talked about the dealership world and liking it because it's this close-knit community. It's the same thing in the founder space. Like, for the most part, founders are cheering other founders on. Like, yes, at some level, within the same industry, we're all competing against each other. But, like, seriously, for the most part, the market's billions and billions of dollars. There's enough money for all of us around. Like, there's enough for me to win while you win, and we can win together. And that in and of itself is priceless,
Mm.
you know? So it's just this unique community, and there have been a couple times, like I said, being a founder is not always sunshine and roses and all that fun stuff, where I've looked at my husband and I'm like, "Man, I'll just go get a real job." And he's like, you don't like being told what to do." Absolutely not. That is a horrible idea. You know, the horrible idea. Don't go do that. I'm like, "Okay, I can do that. I can do this." But outside of the bumps in the roads, the autonomy, even if you are funded, even if you have taken money, you're going through your funding rounds and that fund and stuff like that, you still have a certain amount of autonomy to be able to create and push and change and,
Mm.
whatever, for the most part, you and the market dictates.
Yep. And I think the human mind is made to create things. It's made to identify problems and go after it, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. And finally, as we come to the end, uh, you said that your husband told you to get a real job, but I would argue that being an entrepreneur or
No, he told me not to get a real job altogether. I'm like, "Let's just go get, like, a steady paycheck would be nice, like, it'd be great to just, like, have it magically show up in my bank account and not, like, feel the weight and the stress of, like, going out and getting more accounts or, however everything shakes out." No, he's like, "You hate being told what to do. Do not go get a real, like, don't do that. That's a horrible idea. You cannot work for someone else." And he's not wrong.
he's not wrong. I think one aspect of that could be argued is that what you're doing is the real job, because if you're working in a corporate, you in this day and age, I think it's more stable to have your own business, to have your own customers, to have more control rather than be on the mercy of a large corporation that may slash you down for just so that they can just show certain numbers to their shareholders. Even though you may be the best, most hardworking person working the weekends, just putting your blood and such, sacrificing your life, and despite all that, you may be dropped in a moment's notice. I would say that having your own business is much more safer, much more favorable. And to that end, I think a lot of people are looking, even those who are working in large companies, are itching towards building something of their own. They've gigs happening. They're stepping their toes into entrepreneurship. They're taking these courses. YouTube videos on building your own business has blown up. So people are exploring. People have that need. Some of them are exploring it, and more. Some of them, even a percentage of that, might even succeed in what they're doing. So, and there it's true that being a female founder is harder than being a male founder. There are inherently more challenges. There are more biases in the world out there, especially when you start talking to people. What would your advice be for other female founders, or aspirant or aspirational founders who want to build something of their own, who may be good in one or two things that they do, and who want to venture out in their own world with little to no support? What would you tell them?
Um, I had someone give me a shirt once that said, "Underestimate me, that'll be fun."
That's what.
Um,
Mm.
and I think that is the most important thing ever, is to just think how much fun it is when someone underestimates you and you succeed exponentially. I am by nature a little bit of a competitive person. So I'm like, great, you don't think I can do that? Let me show you 10 ways that I can do that and, go to town and do it. But yeah, in that space where someone is, yeah, someone or something is like telling you that you can't, you really can. And there's a certain amount of faking it till you make it, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to figure it out and not know all of the answers. It is literally okay, and it is okay to fail along the way. Like, there is no right way to build a business. It is the way that works the best for you and your industry, and the segment that you're doing. So, yes, and again, for those that are female founders, one, we can get past our gender. It can happen as someone who works in a male-dominated industry. Once they get past that I am a female, usually, they stick with us for forever.
Hmm.
So gender and then my hair color, and then I'm good. So, uh be okay to being uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. That's where the best growth happens.
Hmm. Have you been in any situations where you have been uncomfortable and that you are able to share it here as well?
I think sometimes yeah. So we were pitched into a company and I was so far out of my depth. And I walked in and just knew I was in over my head, but I really wanted the account and was confident I could figure it out. And I had enough of a supportive team at that moment, um, that I could go back and be like, "All right, I said we do this. I know I don't know how to do it yet, but we're gonna figure it out, and I think we all can figure it out together and, do that kinda stuff." And I just remember sitting there and, like, saying words coming out of my mouth, and it felt like I was watching myself say words come out of my mouth and, like, selling this to this thing, and we ended up getting the account.
Wow.
Um, yeah, we ended up getting the account, and it worked great. I bid at a price point I was felt comfortable enough that if I screwed up, it wasn't gonna ruin the relationship.
Got it.
And then I was transparent with them and said, "This isn't normally what we do, but I'm confident my team can do it. We're going to come in low. We're going to give you a good price. We're going to do all of these things. If you can have a little bit of patience with us while we figure this out, and then we'll grow and scale together. Because if I win, you win, and we both win together." And that at the end of the day is what works most of the time. If the company wins, then you win because you did your job well. So or you made a platform that they can use and then they sell more stuff on Amazon. Like if the company wins, then you win and we all win together.
Yes. Beautifully put, uh, Becca. And
Behold me.
it's just a culmination of hard work. People, when they look at you and look at any founder, they do not see what has gone behind. They do not see the times when we thought, "Oh, okay, this is it. Time to call it or time to call it." Though it's scary the number of times that happens, and as time progresses, as you learn more things, as you learn to value what is important for you and your clients and your partners, I think it's just a beautiful journey. You really inspired me, Becca. I'm very glad that we were able to connect through the startup that shall not be named, but
Little startup that could.
the little startup that couldn't. I can't wait to see and probably get a front row seat on your next, let's call it, mini ventures that may come out of you soon.
You mean when I hire your services to help me with my nice vendor? Is that one?
That goes without saying for sure. I don't want to bring it up, but that's it's pretty amazing, and I'm so glad. And you should probably connect next year to see how your mini venture slash ventures are working out, that would be a whole different story. If once it takes off, and once I think we should kind of build in public, in a sense. This is something that
I'm down.
a industry that very well. It's a little bit of a niche. I think it's a great idea. It's niche enough, but there's big enough market for it, and the right people to do it. Me, so that's like 80% of what needs to be done. But I think you should, and I think it would, that story of how you came up with the idea, how you built it, would be great, and I think that would be a great opportunity to talk about it as we go along.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Becca.
Thanks.